Hello students, today we will read about the second part of the chapter, The Sound of Music, and its name is The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Dear students, you all are familiar with the word music. It is of two types. First is instrumental and second is vocal music. This chapter is associated with the instrument which is called Shehnai, and secondly we come to know about the Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro playing this instrument. So first of all, I will read the chapter according to the paragraph. Then after that, when the paragraph is completed, I will explain you all the paragraph. Then after that, I hope you will enjoy the reading along with me. So let's read the chapter. Emperor Aurangzeb band here means forbid the playing of the musical instrument called the pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Generic here refers to relating to class or a group, and reeded means a plant. Few had thought that it would be one day be revived. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. When he played on it, closing and opening some of the holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. He played the instruments before royalty and everyone was impressed. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. As story goes, since it was the first played in the Shah's chamber, Shah here refers to emperor's chambers, and was played by a nai, it means barber. The instrument was named as Shehnai. So, in this paragraph, we come to know that Emperor Aurangzeb had banned the playing of pungi for its sharp, unpleasant sound in his royal residence, as it was made from a reed and produced noisy sound. It became a generic name for reeded noisemakers. So, some of the intellectuals from his musicians decided to revive it. A barber decided to improve it. He took a pipe with a natural hollow stem. He made 7 holes on its body, and when he played on it by closing and opening some of its holes, the result was desirable. As it produced a sweet sound, it was played before the royalty and liked by all. So it got its name after its player, a nai, and it was named as Shehnai, means the instrument as played in the chamber of emperor, means Shah by the barber, so that is why it named as Shehnai. Let's read the second paragraph. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious means holy or anything that is religious. And for this reason, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. In the past, Shehnai was the part of Naubat or traditional ensembles of 9 instruments found at royal courts. Ensembles here means collection. Then, till recently, it was only used in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument on to the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So, it means slowly the sound of Shehnai came to be viewed as auspicious. That's why it is still played in the temples and weddings. Traditionally, the Shehnai was played in the royal court as one of the 9 instruments together, known as Naubat. Bismillah Khan made it an independent instrument and gave its music a place among other classical instrumental music. Now, let's read the third paragraph. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy was traveled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So it means when Bismillah Khan was 5 years old, he played Gilli Danda near a pond. He used to visit Bihariji temple and sing Bhojpuri Chaita there. He was awarded with a big laddu by a Maharaja for his melodious singing, and after 80 years he was awarded for the highest civilian award in India, that is Bharat Ratna, and he has struggled for it. Now, let's read the fourth paragraph. Born on March 21, 1916, Bismillah belonged to a well known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Baksh Khan was the Shahnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court. His father, Pagambar Baksh, and other paternal ancestors. Paternal here means related to the father, ancestors means the persons in your family, those who were living long time ago, were also the great Shehnai players. So in this paragraph we come to know about the Bismillah Khan birth. So he was born on March 21, 1916 in Bihar and belonged to the well-known family of musicians. His ancestors were the great Shehnai players. His grandfather Rasul Baksh was the Shehnai Nawaz of Bhojpuri King's Court, and his father Pagambar Baksh was also a popular Shehnai player. So now come to the fifth paragraph. The young boy took to the music early in life. At the age of the 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Varanasi, where Baksh was employed to play Shehnai. Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maya and on the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice favorite haunt where he could practice in solitude. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. So, in this paragraph, we come to know that this young boy started learning music early in his life. When he was 3 years old, his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house, means Mama's house, at Banaras. There, he was totally attracted towards his uncle's practice of Shehnai playing. Soon he accompanied him and he started going with his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple in Varanasi to play Shehnai. The young boy would sit for hours listening to his uncle and later practice throughout the day. For years, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maya as well as the banks of Ganga. Young Bismillah Khan favorite hunts because he could practice his music in solitude. The flowing waters also motivated him. Now let's read the sixth paragraph. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad music conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fiaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard, you shall make it." With the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938, came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. So it means at the age of 14, Bismillah Khan attended Allahabad Music Conference with his uncle. Here he was encouraged by Ustad Fiaz Khan. The big achievement came to him when in 1938 All India Radio was started in Lucknow. He was regularly heard on radio. So let's read the next paragraph. When India gained independence on August 15, 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from Red Fort to audience, which included Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tirest with Destiny speech. When India got freedom on 15th August 1947, he was the first Indian to greet the nation, and he poured his heart out while playing the melodious Rag Kafi on his Shehnai. Among the famous leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru later on gave their speeches. Now we will read the 8th paragraph. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. Abroad here refers to the foreign countries. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by. So taken in by means attracted the maestro that he gifted him the priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Souvenirs means here mementos. The king of Afghanistan is not only the one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. The film was hit, and one of the Bismillah Khan's composition, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chartbuster. Chartbuster here refers to record breaker. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world means film industry, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited in two: Vijay Bhatt's Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas' Kannada venture Sannadhi Apana. I just can't come to the terms with the artificiality and the glamour of the film world, he says emphatically. So it means for his adorable performances, he was called in other countries as well. His first trip was to Afghanistan, where the King Zahir Shah was so impressed with his performance that he honored him with the gifts of priceless Persian carpets and other mementos. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so fascinated that he named his one of the film Goonj Uthi Shehnai at him. In this film, he also gave his two compositions and became nationwide record breaker. Bismillah Khan composed songs for only two films, Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Sanadhi Apana. Through his successful career, but he gave up the film world because his taste did not tune well with artificiality and glamour of the film industry. Now, let's come to the 9th paragraph. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the USA. He also took part in the World Exposition in the Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival and other Osaka trade fair. So he well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him, Tehar Mosque Ustad Bismillah Khan. So it means Bismillah Khan's music was so much appreciated in the world that he started getting awards and honors. He became the first Indian to be invited to perform in the prestigious Lincoln Central Hall in USA. He also participated in the World Exposition in Montreal, the Cannes Art Festival and Osaka Trade Fair internationally. He became so famous that in Tehran an auditorium was also named after his name. So now let's read the paragraph number 10. National awards like the Padam Shri and the Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan were conferred to him. Conferred here means given. So in this paragraph, India honored Bismillah Khan by giving him the greatest national awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan, etc. We will read the paragraph number 11. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, with the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting. Glinting here means sparkling, and coveted means much desired. With rare happiness, he said, all I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music. So in this paragraph, we come to know about this. In 2001, he was awarded with the highest civilian award with the Bharat Ratna, and in the ceremony he advised the children must not to be cut off their bond from their grand tradition, which was fascinating even for the people of the West. So now we will read the last second paragraph. In spite of having travelled all over the world, Khan Sahab, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumraon, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. A student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temple there. But Khan Sahab asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. Later he is remembered to have said, that is why whenever I am in the foreign country, I keep earning to see Hindustan. While in Mumbai, I think of only Varanasi and the holy Ganga, and while in Varanasi, I miss the unique Mattha in Dumrao. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslims like him can very naturally play a Shehnai very morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So it means after visiting all over the world, Khan Sahab refers to Bismillah Khan always admired Banaras and Dumrao, which he considered the wonderful towns. Once he was called by a one student in USA and promised him to create same atmosphere and erecting replica of the temples of Banaras, but Ustad ji refused by telling that he would not be able to bring Ganga river there. He said that he could not stay away himself from Varanasi whenever he would be in Mumbai. So really, Bismillah Khan's life was perfect example of secular tradition of Indian culture. His life perfecting represent the blend. Although a devote of Muslim, Khan Sahab played a Shehnai in the Kashi Vishwanath temple every morning. So yes students, I hope that you will be able to understand